We all have those people in our lives who just seem to effortlessly crush their goals, right? Meanwhile, the rest of us feel like we're just drowning in to-do lists. So what's their secret? Well, it's not about working harder or trying to find more hours in the day. It's about a completely different way of thinking about our most valuable, most finite resource. Let's get into it.
So let's start with a really powerful question. Think about it. You can always make more money, but you can never, ever get back a single wasted second. We budget our finances down to the last penny, but what's the real cost of mismanaging our time? It's a life filled with stress and that constant nagging feeling that you're always behind.
And this isn't just a feeling, it's a fact. A survey by LifeCare Inc. found something staggering. 47% of employees say poor time management is their #1 source of stress. That is nearly half the workforce, just feeling chronically overwhelmed. It's a huge and often unspoken problem.
And that leads us straight into what we're calling the time crunch crisis. It's so important to understand that if you constantly feel like you're playing catch-up, it is not a personal failing. It's a systemic issue with some very real and very expensive consequences. This image of a frantic desk just captures that modern feeling perfectly, doesn't it? We're juggling everything, trying to squeeze our entire lives into this tiny 24-hour box. And the result isn't peak performance, it's burnout, it's stress. And ironically, it means less actually getting done. This isn't just a personal struggle, it's a major drain on businesses. Productivity expert Dan Wetmore pointed out this critical flaw in our old way of thinking. For decades, the solution was just to work faster. But as this quote shows, that's kind of like speeding up a factory conveyor belt without ever checking if you're making the right thing. It doesn't lead to better results, just faster exhaustion.
And here's where it really hits a company's bottom line. When your best people are perpetually stressed out, they don't just become less productive, they leave. This constant churn, this high turnover, it costs companies an absolute fortune in lost talent and knowledge, and it all stems from a culture that just burns people out. So, okay, if that burnout model is so clearly broken, what's the alternative? This is where we make a pivot. It's time to move beyond the simple to-do list and really embrace a completely new mindset about how we structure our days.
The new approach is called holistic time management. And think of it this way. It means treating your kid's soccer game or your weekly trip to the gym with the same level of importance as a big client meeting. It's not about work-life balance, it's about work-life integration, making sure all your time lines up with what you truly value.
And this right here, this is the core principle of that new mindset. A 12-hour day filled with distractions and low-value tasks is so much less productive than a hyper-focused 6-hour day. The goal is to be effective, not just busy. It's all about working smarter, not longer.
So how do you actually do that? Well, here's a super powerful tool, the ABCDE method. You start by listing everything you have to do. A tasks are your critical, high-impact items. B and C are less important. But here's where the magic really happens. D is for delegate. What can you hand off to someone else? And maybe the most powerful letter of all, E is for eliminate. What meetings, reports, or tasks can you just stop doing entirely? That's where you really start to reclaim your time.
Okay, so adopting this new mindset is step one, but making it stick, that requires support. And that brings us to our next section, finding the right training, because what works for one person or one company might not work for another.
The options for learning these new skills are incredibly diverse. You could take a self-guided route with books and online courses, which is awesome for flexibility. Or you can get more hands-on, structured support through things like seminars or even intensive one-on-one coaching. The key is just finding the right fit for your learning style and your goals.
This comparison really highlights a key difference. So think of it like this. Group training is where you learn the playbook, you learn the big ideas. But to truly transform your habits, that individual follow-up is like having a coach on the sidelines, giving you personalized feedback and that accountability you need to apply these concepts in the real world.
And this table helps clarify which approach fits which need. A one-shot seminar? It's a great, cost-effective way to just get the ball rolling. Blended learning adds that crucial layer of ongoing support. But if you're really serious about creating deep, lasting change in your behavior, an individual program with a dedicated coach is often the best investment you can possibly make.
All right, we've covered the problem and the solutions. Now, let's talk about the reward, the productivity payoff. This is where we get to see the real, tangible results of mastering your time.
This chart, it paints that pretty bleak before picture. High stress leads to high turnover, which in turn absolutely tanks productivity. It's that costly downward spiral we were talking about earlier. But the good news is, this cycle can be broken.
And here is the after. This is the win-win outcome we're all looking for. When time management is done right, employees get their lives back. They have less stress, more balance, and for employers, that happier workforce is a more productive workforce, one that actually sticks around. It's a really powerful transformation.
And this isn't just a theory. Look at this data from Coors Brewing Company. After they put a time management program in place, employees found an extra 30 to 60 minutes of free time every single day. Seriously, what would you do with an extra hour a day?
This quote really just sums it all up. The ultimate goal isn't just to get more done. It's to get the same amount of high-quality work done in less time so you can go home and live your life. It is the ultimate definition of working smarter, not longer.
So we'll leave you with this question to think about. If you truly mastered your time, what would you make space for? A new project? More time with your family? Maybe just the peace of mind of ending your day feeling accomplished, not completely exhausted? The possibilities, they're yours to create.